The Israeli army seized the Yarmouk Bazin area in the countryside of Daraa, southern Syria. So all of the people that was cheerleading Al Qaeda and ISIS in Syria saying anything's better than Assad. Assad's a fucking dictator. Assad's a murderer. Assad's this. Assad's that. Okay, everyone's allowed to have their own opinions on Assad. Personally, I think he did try his best. He might have done some things wrong. There were certain soldiers in his army that stepped out of line, but a lot of them people he sent to prison and they received life sentences and shit. So, of course, there's always people in a country that don't agree with the leadership, you know, and there's always people from other countries that don't agree with another country's leadership. So, we're all entitled to our own opinion, but it was never a good idea, guys, to let Al Qaeda and ISIS take over your country. I'm gonna say that straight up. As bad as you might think Assad was, at least you knew what he was capable of. You know, he was in charge of Syria for 20 years. He never chose to sign up to be the president either. It was passed down to him. But everyone tried to claim, oh, you know, Syria's now free. Syria's going to be so much better without him. Okay, how long has it been? Maybe 10 days since this all happened? 2 weeks max? Israel has conquered more of Syria than they did the whole entire time that this shit has been going on with Lebanon. I know that we're in a 60-day ceasefire right now, which is obviously bullshit, because they're still doing bombs, but it's not been to the extent that they were doing. But the whole time they was trying to invade Lebanon, they barely took a fucking mile. Look how much every single day I'm reporting that Israel has taken more land in Syria. Every time we do a stream, they've taken more land. And what has HTS done back? They ain't even thrown a brick through a window. They ain't thrown a rock at an Israeli soldier. They ain't even called him up and told him to stop. We saw Al Jalani come up and say, oh, please, please stop bombing us. That was 3 days ago. Ever since, they've still been bombing Syria. They've still been taking more land. So, yeah. The Israeli army continues to seize loads of land. So let's look at what they've been doing. So yeah, tanks are just roaming the streets. It's starting to look like fucking the West Bank right now. It's starting to look like scenes from the West Bank with the Israeli tanks teamed up with the Palestinian authorities, the traitorous Palestinian authorities, and they're just taking over everything. Israel, of course, they reportedly seized the Al Wada Dam, in the southern part of the Daraa government of Syria. If this is true, that means Israel now controls the flow of the Yarmouk River. So they're taking all the water supplies. Then Israeli Defense Minister Katz came out and said, the summit of Mount Hermon is Israel's eye for monitoring near and far threats. From here on the right, we watch Hezbollah in Lebanon. On the left, Damascus. And in front of us, we see Israel. The Israeli army is here to protect the Golan and the citizens of Israel from any threat. So they're using the excuse of self-defense again, while they're just taking land in Syria. Like, what the fuck? It's always self-defense. I want to come back to this video. We're going to finish off with this video, because this video is brilliant. A journalist asked Matthew Miller, is the 10 million bounty, is that 10, yeah, it's 10 million, or is that 10, yeah, 10 million bounty, is the prize still available for Jelani? And Matthew Miller said it is, which you all probably know it ain't. They've been regularly speaking with HTS, like they said, their own words, the US said that. We've seen UK delegations actually visit Damascus and take pictures of them. German delegations as well. They've been having regular phone calls with the British and American authorities. So someone called them out.
The USA still put like this $10 million as a prize for Al Julani, or they like it's not longer valid? Like you put a prize for $10 million on Al Julani. Is it still valid, or
it is? It is.
So like if hypothetically someone arrested him and like give him to the military base in the USA, he or she's gonna take the $10 million?
I'm not going to deal with hypotheticals, but the rewards for justice, the reward that we issued through our Rewards for Justice program is still valid and outstanding.
Okay.
Should also make clear the reward can't be claimed by a government official.
Yeah, correct.
So if you send someone in to Syria and he or she meets with Yolanda.
You're, oh, yeah.
They're-
I didn't think.
they're
I
not
didn't,
gonna get
I didn't
10
think. I
million.
didn't think the suggestion was like, look, when it comes to
Look, but
information
look,
about
no,
his
look.
whereabouts, I think at this point his whereabouts are well known. We don't need reports from government officials.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, no one from the government is going to get the 10
From
million.
our government, yeah.
Yeah.
No, I would be surprised if a State Department employee applied for that reward.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, it's funny, ain't it? Yeah, make a joke out of it, mate. Fucking absolute clown. Ah, what is the world come to? What's the world come to? But anyway, more RDF armoured vehicles entered the Dara province in southern Syria. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu also ordered the military to hold positions on the Mount Hermon, which is the Syrian Golan Heights, until at least the end of 2025. So yeah, what can we say? Al Mayadeen, correspondent in Syria, said the Israeli army is now only 12 kilometers away from the international highway that connects Damascus to Beirut. And also, we saw an attack on a Christian cemetery in the Al Bath neighborhood in Hama. This is Zionism in my eyes. Like, in my eyes, this is Zionism. This ain't no, like, they try and, this is the thing that annoys me about all the people that are Muslims and they're supporting ISIS and Al Qaeda. I'm convinced that these people are complete Zionists, first of all. But if there is actually people out there that are Muslims that support this, when the Western media tries to portray Muslims as terrorists and shit like that, it's because of the name that ISIS and Al Qaeda, which are fake Muslims in my opinion again, have given them. So this is Zionist tactics. What do we see the Zionists do in Palestine and Lebanon? They go around destroying the Christian churches, they destroy the mosques and all of this shit. And now look, an attack on a Christian cemetery in Syria. What's the need for this? This is Zionist tactics, guys. Look, it's just blasphemy, you know. It's disgusting. Some images, yeah. It's all in my eyes. It's all like a propaganda game, an information war. It's all a way to try and portray Muslims as terrorists and all that.